Hey, I'm Vergo and this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization and working with psychedelics to live a more fulfilling life. So today I want to continue to describe my journey with vaporizing NN-DMT. If you haven't watched the first video of my first few experiences with NN-DMT, you can watch it right here, or the link will be down in the video description below. So if you're interested in these kinds of topics of self-realization, of self-actualization, and if you want to follow my journey on working with psychedelics to improve my life, then subscribe to this channel and join our little Facebook group where we can communicate and connect on an even deeper level. Because I think it is quite interesting how my journey with psychedelics evolved over the years, and I do have quite different experiences with psychedelics than a lot of people. So a few days after my last experience with DMT with a trip sitter, I decided to do it alone by myself, and I put 80 milligrams in the mighty vaporizer from Storz and Pickles. I took 4 big tokes of vaporized DMT and it shot me right out of my body into whatever that was. I don't know. The first thought that came to my mind was, am I dreaming right now? Because it kind of felt like a dream. I had no sense of time at all and I wasn't in my body anymore. It is really hard to describe the visuals I had, because I had very weak and very little visuals at all. It was all kind of dark, but the feeling I had, I can only describe with wow. It felt a bit like a roller coaster because I was shot out of my body so fast that I couldn't even comprehend what was happening. Yeah, and then I came back into my body very fast, and as I opened my eyes, I saw the most beautiful geometric patterns and shapes on my wall and everywhere around me, and it was really, really, really beautiful. And after that, I just laughed very, very hard because it was so funny, because I couldn't comprehend what was happening to me. And it was really funny. I had a really great time afterwards because it was so interesting what was happening, and I didn't knew what I was going to take out of the experience other than the knowing that I am not the body. And that was the experience of 80 milligrams of DMT, 4 big tokes. And yeah, it was really interesting, and it was my first real out-of-body experience, and the insight that I am not the body was really, really important for me at that time. And I didn't think it was a breakthrough experience, because you hear a lot about the breakthrough experience on DMT with all these entities or shapes or patterns that you have with closed eyes, but I had no closed-eyed visuals at all, not just very weak and distant ones. So I wanted to try it again. A few days later I put 85 milligrams in the mighty, and I took 3 big hits of DMT. And a similar experience happened to what was happening before. I was just shot right out of my body. I didn't know where I was, but I wasn't having visuals, and I didn't know what was happening at all. It felt kind of mysterious and sacred and kind of alien to be in that space. But it faded very fast, and here I was again. Yeah, and I was kind of amazed by the experience because it was so interesting, but also so different from what I've heard, what other people experience on DMT. But I wanted to continue my experimentation with it. And so 10 days later, I tried it again. This time with 100 milligrams of DMT, again in the mighty vaporizer. This time again I was shot right out of my body, and this time I felt that some kind of entities wanted to show me something, but I couldn't really see or feel any specific things. And I came back and my only thought was, bro, I don't know what to make out of this experience. Right after it, a few minutes later, I tried to smoke it again, but no real effects occurred, nothing really interesting was happening. And a day after that, I decided to try it again. But this time it was kind of a different experience from all the other ones I've had before. I didn't even fill up more DMT in the Mighty, but I just grabbed it without really mental or spiritual preparation, but I just grabbed it and was going into the experience, took a few hits, and this time it was kind of dark and I felt kind of uncomfortable, and I had heard this weird sound of like a tinnitus, like, and it was just a really dark and uncomfortable experience. But it was also kind of a really strong experience. I don't know if that was because I wasn't filling up the Mighty again, or because I wasn't going into it with enough respect and mental and spiritual preparation, but I was kind of unhappy afterwards. There wasn't really that amazement and that awe and that, it wasn't that kind of awe or wonder afterwards, but I was feeling kind of uncomfortable and unhappy afterwards. And that, just led to positive things. I decided to take a run, I decided to exercise and to focus more on my real life experience. Yeah, and after that experience I took a little break from smoking DMT. I wasn't smoking it for a month, and after a month I decided to go all in. I wanted to experience the full range of it, and I decided to put 115 milligrams of DMT in the Mighty Vaporizer, and I took 3 big hits. This time I wasn't going into it with a special intention. I wanted to just see what happens and accept the experience as it was. And also kind of important information is all these experiences that I'm describing were happening in my bed. I was lying down in my bed and I was closing my eyes while I had the experience. So, and this time again I was shot right out of my body. It was like that roller coaster started again and I was in that kind of space. I didn't know what to make of it, but it was a really pleasant experience this time. And I had a big laugh afterwards because it is just beyond the beyond. It is just, I don't think humans can comprehend what is happening in this experience. If you're having visuals, if you're meeting entities or not, I don't think humans can comprehend what is happening in that space. Just our ego mind or our understanding of what we think reality is. We just can't comprehend it. At least I couldn't comprehend it at that time in my life with these experiences I was having. Yeah, and after all these experiences, I still didn't quite knew how to integrate these experiences in my own life, what I've learned from it, other than that I am not the body, and that insight was giving me kind of an ease in my day-to-day life, that I didn't have to take all this stuff so seriously. That was quite good. But I didn't know how to integrate it. I didn't know what to make out of the experience at that time in my life with these experiences, because I also didn't quite have these intense colorful or visual experiences. When I closed my eyes, there was just this darkness with very weak visuals, but they were not showing me anything specific. Yeah, and that's it for today. These were some more DMT experiences of mine. The journey continues. If you're interested in more DMT trip reports or trip reports of psychedelics in general, or insights about self-realization and self-actualization, then subscribe to this channel and join our little community. Also join our little Facebook group if you want to communicate and connect with like-minded people on an even deeper level. And follow me on Instagram if you're interested in psychedelic or spiritual memes or inspiring messages. Yeah, I'm really grateful that you've watched this video. Comment down below your first experiences with vaporized NN-DMT. I would really love to hear your experiences, because I think every experience is really unique with DMT. Every experience for every person is really different, and also every trip is kind of different. Although I've described these trips as similar experiences, kind of a similar thing was happening, but all the experiences were quite unique and were showing me stuff on their own. They weren't similar at all, but it was a similar pattern in general. So that's it for today. Thank you, namaste, and I will see you in the next one.